Hello. My name is Lila Rodriguez, and today we're going to look at the different brands on the Zappos website of women's running shoes, and we will compare them and kind of make some notes about them. So, first we are going to compare all the brands and kind of look at what brands have the average highest price, what brands have the lowest average price, and what brands have the average highest overall ratings and the lowest. We will look at all of these different factors. Then we are going to look at price versus rating and how they correlate and if they do have any correlation, meaning that does the price of a shoe affect the brand's overall rating? We will next look at all the brands' overall ratings and compare them and see the skew of them and how often people rate a brand 5 stars compared to how often people rate a brand 1 star. Then we are going to look at style versus overall rating and see if that has any correlation. So, does the style of a shoe affect the brand's overall rating? If a shoe is cuter, will it be rated higher? Then we will just look at all the correlations of these different factors that we've looked at: the price, the overall rating, the style, the true to width, and so on. And then we will come to a conclusion and figure out what all of this data shown means, and we will look at what brand is the best brand to buy when looking at women's running shoes and looking at their overall rating, their true to size, and their true to width. These are all of the brands right here on the left. They're all here, and they are organized by the highest average price to the lowest average price. And then from there, we can all look at all of these other factors that we are addressing today: the average price, the percent on sale, the true to size, the true to width, the average style rating, the average comfort rating, and the average overall rating. So, as you can see, Mizuno has the highest average price rating out of all of the other brands with $156.23 per shoe, compared to Skechers, which has the lowest overall rating of $83.64 per shoe. So this difference, $156 compared to $83, is pretty significant. And we can also see here that Mizuno has a low chance of being on sale. Not as low as Ultras, which is the second highest priced shoe, but it is the second, there are very, very little of them that are on sale. Next, I would like to go all the way over to the right and point out the overall ratings. As you can see, Skechers has the highest overall rating between all of the other brands, while Mizuno has the lowest overall rating between all of these other brands. So what does that mean? Even though Skechers has the lowest average price point, it has the highest overall rating. Not only does Skechers have the highest overall rating, it has the highest percent of true to size and the highest percent of true to width. So we can already tell that Skechers brand is a good shoe to consider when looking for running shoes because it is cheap, they are true to size, they are true to width, and their average overall rating is pretty nice. The only thing that we would maybe point out is that maybe people don't like the style of them. It is the second lowest rated for style rating, or third lowest. So maybe that is a factor to consider when looking at running shoes. So right now we are looking at the price versus the overall rating, and we're seeing if they have any correlation with each other. As we can see here, you can see that a shoe with $150 has a 1 star. So we can see that maybe the price of the shoe and the overall rating were affected. Maybe this person bought a shoe, it was really, really expensive, they were expecting it to be a really nice shoe, and it wasn't. As we can see here, same with $250, expecting it to be a really, really nice shoe, and it wasn't as nice as they thought they were purchasing for. Here we can see brands with $100 to $50 shoes. They do have a higher overall rating, but we can see here that there's only a 6% chance of correlation between price and overall rating. Only a 6% chance. So that means that the price of the shoe and the ratings are not super directly correlated, and it won't have a significant impact on when customers are rating the shoe. This is all of the brands, and we're comparing all of their overall ratings to kind of look at how much variance the brands have in overall rating. As you can see here, no brands really score with a 2, but Mizuno has this outlier right here with a 1-star rating, and we can see maybe it is this shoe, this $150 shoe with a 1-star rating. That could be the reason of this outlier. And this brings the brand's overall rating to be lower. So this could be why Mizuno does have the lowest overall rating, because of this 1 star. Now, going back to my findings in the beginning, the Skechers shoe by far have the lowest skew, the lowest variance. The average of their shoe ratings fall between 4.5 and 5 stars, which I think is really good at looking to know how reliable this shoe is. So all different shoes from the brand Skechers have been rated between 4.5 and 5 stars. I think this is 4.5. It might be 4. Okay, so 4 to 5 stars, with this one outlier being taken into consideration, which I think is really, really good when looking at that. And we can see that the brand with the biggest variation is Adidas Running right here, with their average being maybe 2.25. Their lowest being 2.25 and the highest being 5 stars. So this does have a lot of variance in it. Maybe some specific kinds of running shoes from Adidas Running are better than others. And again, I would like to point out down here that Mizuno, Adidas, and Skechers are the only brands that reach their 5 stars compared to all of the other brands. So they have more 5-star ratings than all of these other shoes, and that will be just important to consider, knowing that we do want a shoe with a good overall rating. So although all of these shoes are pretty high up in their ratings, we do want one maybe that has more than 1 or 2 5 stars, and Skechers might be a good option with very, very low variance. Now we're going to be looking at the style rating versus the overall rating and seeing how directly that is correlated. And we can see right here that the correlation is only 7%. And although that is 1% higher than overall rating and price, we can see here from all of these dots that they are pretty clustered, and this one dot may be the reason why it is why is it 7% and not higher, maybe not 8% or even 9%. And this means that there is some correlation because of how many data points there are so close together. And so people who think that a shoe is cuter in style are more likely to rate it a higher overall rating. So as you can see here, all of these people who rated the style rating 5 are more likely to rate it the overall rating between 3.5 and 5. So there is some correlation we can see. Now looking at all of the correlation, we can kind of compare the price to on sale, and if that has an effect, or number of reviews. Does the price affect the number of reviews? Does it affect the true to size or the true to width, or does the price affect the comfort rating or the style? And we can tell the correlation by looking at the dark blue squares. As you can see here, these are darker, meaning that they have a stronger correlation. But I want to start off with noticing some weak correlations, or weak relationships. So the overall rating and the on sale rating, let me find that. Sorry, it is just a little tricky to find when you are doing all of this. So here is the overall rating and the on sale rating. They have a very, very, very weak relationship. So this means that if a brand is on sale or not, that will not affect the brand's overall rating. It will not really have any significant impact or effect. Some brands, or some factors that have some relationships, can be the true to size and true to width. That is darker blue. So if a shoe is more likely to be true to size, then it is more likely to be true to width. Another example, and then some brands that have strong, or some factors that have strong relationships would be the comfort rating and the style rating. So this actually has a lot stronger of a relationship compared to true to size and true to width. And I'm not sure why this is. Maybe people who think that a shoe is more stylish is more likely to be comfortable. Even though like high heels are not comfortable, but they're more stylish, people would say. But hey, the data doesn't lie. So brands that have a high style rating are likely to have a high comfort rating. Another one is the MSRP and price. This one is the highest correlation that we see, and this means that when shoes are less expensive, when they're full price, they are more likely to be still less expensive compared to when they're on sale. So even if a shoe is already cheap and it's on sale, it's still likely to be cheap when it's not on sale. I know it's not that intuitive, but when the price and the MSRP are directly correlated, because that is just how likely it is. So, wrapping all of this up, what does this mean? Well, when looking at what's intuitive and not, the charts that I found the least intuitive are this correlation gram, just because it is hard to compare it all and see how much correlation there is between all of these ratings. And looking at that, the chart that I found to be the most intuitive and most helpful is the box and Whistler charts when analyzing women's running shoes. And this is because I'm able to directly compare the brand's mean and look at their SKU and get an idea of why they were rated the way that they are, and how many ratings fall in between, and how much variance there is with that. And I think that is important when looking at a brand, because sometimes there are SKUs in the average. So a brand can have a super high overall rating with 2 or 3 really, really low reviews for maybe just one specific style of shoe. And that can kind of bring down the brand's overall rating when just looking at their average rating. So by looking at the box plots, I can have a better idea of how the variation that is between these, and how well the brand is overall rated. And I think we kind of were able to tell from the beginning, Skechers is one of the best brands for running shoes because it does have the highest overall rating out of all of the other brands. It also is the cheapest running shoes with the best comfort rating. With the best comfort and width rating. But it, again, like we showed in the beginning, it does have one of the lowest style ratings. So if you are looking for a brand with high style ratings, Asics is also a great option because it has the highest average style rating. It is the second cheapest shoe. It is always on sale, which is interesting because it has such a high style rating. It's one of the highest comfort ratings. And although it's not the best with overall ratings, it still looks pretty good. So, in conclusion, if you're going for the best overall brand without considering what the shoe looks like, because I know sometimes what the shoe looks like is more important than all of the other factors. But if we're looking at what the best brand is to buy for women's running shoes, it would be Skechers. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much.